and welcome to the 21st episode of the Yarn Junkie podcast. My name is Amber. You can find me on most social media outlets as Yarn Junkie. On Instagram, I am _Yarn Junkie. On Ravelry, I am Yarn Junkie with the number 6. And there is also a Yarn Junkie podcast group. That's the name of it. Please check us out. Come by, say hi, show me what you're working on. I'd love to get chatty with you. And I just want to thank all my returning and new viewers, all my subscribers. I have over 500 subscribers now. That's just insane. I really love this community. I love your support. I love your friendships. I love the connections I've made, and I just genuinely want to say thank you. It just makes me feel really special to have all these lovely ladies to chat with and to knit with as we work on our projects together. I'm taking a sip. My coffee's about half gone now. I started this episode once already, and then the dog started going berserk on the neighbor, so I had to go quiet her, and of course I had to start over because I'm not all tech fancy with the pausing and what have ya. We will go ahead and get started because I feel like I have so much to show you guys. It's been about 2 weeks since I last recorded, and I really don't have the time to sit down and do it today. But at the same time, I wanted to sit down with you guys. I wanted to show y'all what I had. I have quite a bit to show you. And I don't want it to go on more and then have an overwhelming amount of stuff and it just pile up on me. So we'll go ahead and get right on top of it. I have some finished objects, lots of works in progress, and so much stash. No, by November was an epic fail for me. I did a little bit of buying, and then on my birthday, my birthday was Monday, November 30th. Happy birthday to me. And yeah, my husband was like, it's Cyber Monday, what are you getting? I was like, I don't know, let me see. And yeah, I went a little crazy. But we'll start with our finished objects. Got my gloves done. And I really probably shouldn't have worked on these. I was kind of hemming and hawing about finishing them, and finally I was just like, I'm going to finish them. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have forced myself to finish them because I feel like in doing so, I completely screwed them up. I took them with me going out to supper a couple of weeks ago, and I was knitting on them on the way home in the dark with the vanity mirror light on, because that's what I used to knit in the car at the dark. And the last 2 rows of the color work are completely wrong. Just, this one's perfect. This is the first one I knit. It's perfect except for the top. I forgot to decrease on the ribbing for the needle. On this one I did. So, it was my first color work project. Was it? Yeah. I'm going to say it was my first Fair Isle project. I've changed colors knitting, but I haven't Fair Isled. So this was my first Fair Isle project. I would say it was a lot of fun, a big success. It was also the first time I've ever done anything with waste yarn. Totally not scared of that now. I think that I want to try to do an afterthought heel, maybe, if I'm feeling pretty brave. So these are for the Make 2 Along with the Tiny Paper Foxes podcast. Ginny of the podcast or the host of the podcast, is doing a make-along. So you can crochet, knit, sew, whatever your making ability is. She just wants you to make 2 somethings to wear together. And these are my gloves, and I also made this hat, which I've shown you, but I will put it on so we can see it with the gloves. I should have also grabbed my farmhouse shawl, because I mentioned on my previous podcast how well the red in the gloves match that shawl. I'm like, wonky. I would have ripped this out, but honestly, I wanted to be done with them, and they're for me. I'm not going to care that the last 2 rows are messed up. And the only people that would notice are potentially my Knit Night group friends, and they would do nothing worse than laugh at it. So I'm leaving it. I'm totally leaving it. And I also have my jingle for Christmas and my lights, feeling festive, even though I'm kind of a Scrooge, a Grinch when it comes to Christmas time. It's just not my favorite. What else? Oh, instead of making two though, and this is probably way too ambitious, and I will probably just stick with the hat and the gloves, but I did go ahead and swatch to make a sweater. And I've been talking about my tension for a while now and how I knit super loose, and I usually have to size down 2, sometimes 3 needle sizes on a pattern to get a nice fabric. And I am finding it really frustrating in garment making specifically, because I really want to knit a sweater that's going to fit me. And my crocheted Noro sweater probably would have done a lot better had I sized down my hook, because apparently I even crochet loose. I don't really think I crochet that loose, just on bulkier items like that, sweaters, maybe. But I made a swatch for the calligraphy cardigan out of the Everyday Knits for Everyday Adventures. I wish I'd have grabbed the book to show you, but I've shown it on a previous podcast. It's Henna Fettig book, Everyday Knits for Everyday Adventures, and it's the calligraphy cardigan. And what I have discovered is if I use a bulkier weight than what they ask for, I can generally get the gauge swatch I'm supposed to. So for instance, in that specific pattern, she asks for a DK weight yarn. I knitted on DK weight in size 6. That was not going to be a sweater for me. I went ahead and got a thicker weight yarn. I would say this is a worsted, maybe a heavier worsted weight, just a touch heavier than your typical worsted, a little bit bulkier, if you will. And my gauge swatch is right on. I mean, it measures out beautifully. I've washed this and dried this, and I like the fabric, and I think I would really like a sweater with this. Then reading through the pattern, it seems like I might be in over my head, but we'll see. We'll see, and we'll see if I get it started, because I kind of have a lot of hats that I want to make. And her make 2 along ends at the end of January, and I know I doubt I can knit a sweater in 2 months and make all the hats that I want to make. So that's probably just a future project. And the yarn for this, you can't even see, this isn't a very good representation because this is just the darkest. It's a very what is that word? Ombre self-striping of all browns, very beautiful fall colors, very beautiful fall sweater now that it's winter. So yeah, next year, totally going to bang out a fall sweater, fall calligraphy sweater would be beautiful. And I'll have my hat and my gloves to wear, possibly even to ride back. I doubt it, but we'll see. Anywho, again, with the tension issues, I have this in my project bag from Linda. Her and I did a swap, and she made me this gorgeous bag. I talked about it on a previous episode. It's perfect for hats. Like, I don't really buy drawstring bags, but every time I use this one, I can't get over it. I just love it. I love it. So I am knitting the Hipster Sister, and it's a free pattern from Hedgehog Fibers, and it is a cabled hat pattern. And I am knitting, now again with the tension issues, this pattern calls for Aran weight yarn, which is, I have worsted, and 5.5 millimeter needles. I think that's a size 9. That's I cannot imagine knitting with size 9 needles. I started to knit that on size 8, quickly realized that's just not going to work, and started size 7. Nope. I went down to size 6. And this is, I feel like, this fabric's pretty good. And though it is a little bit tight, my circumference, I think it'll block out okay. It's super washable, and the person I'm making it for is very petite. I can't remember if I showed this. Now that I'm talking about it, it seems like I've shown it before. Maybe not, because I feel like I knit this. Yeah, I haven't. I haven't talked about this. I've talked about the yarn that I bought. So this is Madeline Tosh Vintage. Yeah, Madeline Tosh Vintage, 100% superwash merino. It is worsted weight, 200 yards, and the colorway Leopard. It's just a very dark, true gray. I mean, it's very pretty. It's not at all a color that I would ever buy for anything, but this is what the recipient of the hat requested, and now that I'm knitting with it, I'm like, ooh, this gray is so pretty. Who knew gray could be pretty? So I think I'm going to have to knit a gray hat for my husband, maybe myself, who knows. But this ribbing, I'm done with the ribbing, and I've got to the increases, and I'm about to start the cable pattern now. But it took me a while to get my ribbing done, obviously, because I switched needles 3 times. But now that I have this done, I think it will go by really quick once I get done with the trellis socks. That's priority. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, I love this. I love cable patterns. I really liked knitting my Tweety honeycomb hat, and this is a lot of fun. And I'm knitting this on, I think these are Knit Picks, I want to say DPNs, but I've ordered some carbons DPNs because I just really like the feel of carbons. So that is done. I am also in my Mommy Sew project bag that I just love with my Molly brooch, the sheep. And I also made a little gnome Progress Keeper zipper pull thing. And the mushroom one that I have on here is from vintageroselove.com. So, in here I have 2 little birds of happiness. I'm doing a few ornament swaps, and I also convinced my family, extended family, instead of exchanging gifts this year, let's exchange ornaments. And so I'm going to knit a few birds, and I thought, my mom did not seem thrilled with the I'm going to knit you a bird idea. So I reworked my plan, and I think for her, this is the yarn that I got to knit Prudence some mittens. And then when I showed it to her, she was like, I told you I wanted rainbow mittens. I asked her sister. She said, Prudence said she wanted yellow mittens. Be that as it may, I can find something else to do with yarn, and the kids can still have yellow or rainbow mittens. Gives me an excuse to buy more yarn. This is Madeline Tosh DK Twist in colorway Candlewick, and I thought it would be really fun to crochet a little bell ornament. So I was going to just, a basic dome shape with some shell stitch along the bottom, and I was going to do this on top as a little tie, this kind of red and green ribbon, and then even affix a bell, a jingle bell, on the inside. I don't know how well it will ring being, yarn, but we'll see how that goes. That's my plan for this week, to knit more ornaments in addition to the sock that I must knit, that I'm about to talk about, because I keep mentioning it, and you're like, what sock? Again, this is the second time that I've recorded half of this, so, because I had to go yell at the dogs. Always coffee. I went into town the other day. God, that was a nightmare. I'm so grateful for online shopping. I had to go and get some party stuff. Atrella's birthday party is this weekend. Her actual birthday was on Sunday. Her and I have birthdays that are a day apart. But with it being so close to Thanksgiving, I felt it would be better to push out her birthday. And so her party's tomorrow, and we've been making tons of stuff. One of her presents is this bag and some socks. I knit her Harry Potter socks. This is post yarn in colorway Bravery, and the pattern I used are the Hermione's Everyday Socks, of course, because and I really liked this pattern. I really liked working on these. I had a lot of problems with this and that's why there's only one sock done in her parties tomorrow. One of the problems that I had was my needles. So I've mentioned 1,000 times that cubics are great, but they're not, and I showed you that they bend, because they do, and I have like a death grip. I mean, you see it's a little bent, but now watch. Now it's a lot more bent. It's just, they bend easy, and they're crazy. I was knitting this on size 1 carbons. That was going to be a Hagrid sock, because it was way too huge. Size down to size 0, I only had cubics in the 0. Made do with those until I took myself to the yarn shop, not my local yarn store. Matosh Crafts in Fort Worth is my local yarn store. There is another yarn shop in Fort Worth that I go to only for the DPNs. My local yarn shop does not carry carbon DPNs. It breaks my heart that I have to go over to the snobby yarn store. What's really interesting about that is I've watched a lot of podcasters, had a lot of knitting people tell me certain yarn shops are snobby. What is that? Like, we're all fiber lovers. Like, why can't we just go in there and love fiber and be together and have a community? This particular place, even my really close friend, Mel, hi Mel, she mentioned that they walk around and follow her like she's going to steal something. I was like, I thought it was just me. What is wrong with these people? And it's just, it's not the most inviting, warmest place. But they have carbons, DPNs, need. And I got something else too. We'll get to that in a minute. But so I had to go get these, and then once I did, this sock just flew off the needles. But I also really underestimated how much time I spent knitting in downtime with the family around, because these were a hidden project, and I did not knit on them as much as I should have while she was in school, mostly because of the needle problem. I got these on Wednesday, and then this sock was done pretty quick after that. Since only one sock's going to be done, and since that dragon neck warmer is just, it's in the timeout corner. I got a couple of the little pieces done, and just, I couldn't figure it out, and it frustrated me, and so it's not gonna be crocheted for her. But when I was, if you've been around for a while and watched some of my previous episodes, I knit or crocheted a Dobby for my friend for her Harry Potter birthday party this summer. And Etrella loved that Dobby, and she immediately wanted one, and I was like, yeah, whatever. Gonna make her a Dobby for her birthday. And my idea was, so I got the feet done this morning, the feet and the arms. And I crochet really quick, so I mean, the body and the face will be done tonight, and I can assemble it. I mean, 2 hours tops is the amount of work that I have left on this Dobby. To make the shroud, all that, it's just not very much time. What my idea was to put the Dobby and the sock in the bag and say, sorry you only have one sock, needed it to free Dobby. How is that? Is that great? Is that a save? Is that a mom save? Yeah. So I have been crocheting my Dobby with my Purple Heart Furls crochet hook in size F, and I'm using Madeline Tosh because obviously I'm a Tosh junkie, in colorway Antler, so it's just like a off-white almost, and this is the Twist Light yarn, yeah, sock yarn, for a little mini Dobby. And I have all that in this bag, and this will be part of her present too. While I was getting those needles, I have it in my Hue Loco project bag. I love Nicole so much. She is such a treasure to our community, to the knit world in general. She has tutorials online. She has an amazing Etsy shop full of yarn and beautiful project bags. You should check her out if you haven't already. And that's Hue Loco. Here's her little label, so Hue Loco. And she said that she came up with the name because she's color crazy, and Hue is color and Loco is crazy. I just thought that was just so cute and funny. But when I got the needles, this particular yarn shop does draw me in because they carry a local dyer, and they also carry a lot of sock yarn in general. I wish I would have left this in skein forms to show you, but it was December 1st, and I was caking up all my Christmas yarn. So this is You'll Shoot Your Eye Out, and it's a self-striping, and the stripes are going to be the green, the red, and then there's a speckled in there. And You'll Shoot Your Eye Out is the reason I bought this yarn, the name. My brother and I also got this little button at Half Price Books. You'll shoot your eye out. My brother and I, he would force me to sit through marathons of that movie every single Christmas Eve. And it was just insane. And I still watch that movie every year. So I'll knit my socks while watching that movie and thinking of him. And Etrella claimed this for herself as soon as she saw it. So I'll knit her socks with that. Maybe even I'll knit her socks with that. And then I'll knit myself socks with this, which is the Post yarn in Holly Jolly, Texas. And I was looking at this in skein form, so you can't see all the colors. But it matches my bag perfectly, because there's even little hints of blue, green, pink, red. I love this. I bought this because Sarah of the Love Sock Wool podcast enabled me to. And did I say that the Harry Potter yarn was Post yarn too? It's Post sock yarn. And it is 75% Corriedale, 25% wool. And while I don't really love this yarn, I probably won't buy anymore. The colorways are incredible, but the yarn splits like crazy. And it's just not super enjoyable to work with. But we'll see how I feel once I get socks out of it. Because this sock seems like it will be a really hard-wearing, durable sock. And that's what I need. I'm like insanely rough on socks. So we'll see how they hold up before I decide for sure whether I will or won't buy anymore. Because when I say it splits, it's not even like that's a big deal. It's just kind of annoying to have a splitty yarn. But you can see the plies are quite loose. So of course it's just gonna split. And I still have that speckled Madeline-Tosh yarn that I've just completely fallen out of love with now. I kind of got it because I was like so obsessed with Christmas yarn buying, and now I'm kind of having a little bit of buyer regret because it's not Christmassy enough. It's white with a little bit of blotchiness on it. What else? On the Dobby, I am loosely basing him off of the Edwards Menagerie animals. What's cool about this book is all of these animals have the same arms, same body shape, and their faces are all a little different. And so I used this for his arms, and I'll do the same for his body. And then for the face, like I did on the last one, I'll use the bunny pattern and just adapt it to be more pointy here, and then I also adapt it by making the ears a lot shorter, but the point has a nice point like Dobby's ears. So I love this book. I've crocheted several of these animals, and I want to make them all. I have more to show you. My coffee's gone cold now. That's such a sad day. So because I didn't really have anything to work on for Thanksgiving, I had those socks that I couldn't work on because of Etrella. I've showed this before, which is just a little baby hat, basic baby hat in DK weight yarn that I knit, I think on size 4 needles. And it is the Madeline-Tosh Charred colorway, DK Twist, did I say that? And I knit this for my friend who really loves all of my creations and just recently had a baby. She just had her baby, I think, like a couple days ago. I couldn't just send a hat, and I was trying to come up with something else to make. And I have knit this little vest before, and right now it's kind of a mess to show you because I have those are holding my stitches, and this is, I don't know why that's there. This is the back. So this is a little flap that will actually fold over and have buttons on it. And it's just a little vest a little dapper vest for a little dapper baby. And then I'm working on the front currently. And I probably have like another inch, maybe, to knit, and then the bind off, and I'm done with this. And you won't see this again as a finished object, because as soon as I'm done with it, I plan to mail it probably on Monday. So I will show it to you closer. And again, this is the charred colorway. And this down here, so I mentioned my minis that I got moons ago. I knit these with my minis. So I bought a pack. I think they had 5 or 6 in them. 50 weight, 50 yards I think, of DK Twist yarn, Madeline Tosh. And I knit these 2 gloves, and then I bought another skein because I thought I was going to need it to finish the gloves. I didn't. So then I had plenty to knit a hat, and then I still had more. And this is how much I have left. So I still have even more. After this vest is done, I could probably even get another baby hat out of this. But these here are the other minis in this throwing things. This is what I have left of that colorway, and that's still what I have left of the charred. But oh my gosh, I love this. And I knit on Thanksgiving, and I could not help but think that this looked like sweet potatoes. And I knit my little heart out, and I had my little turkey progress keeper from a homespun house, and it made some. And I have to show you my project bag that day was, you know, your little teepee Indians, just some knitting Thanksgiving festivities going on. And Thanksgiving is by far my favorite holiday. So to have something just so perfect for that day just makes me really happy. And I'll be done with this weekend and get it sent on Monday, so you will not see it again. So sad, Panda. Unless you go to my project page, because I'm sure to always upload, always now. Coincidentally, like in the past couple months, I'm obsessed with my project page, and I'm like adding notes and listing yarn and size needles, and I'm a nut about it. What else? I had my awesome friend from Knit Night drive all the way out here. I say all the way out here. I'm about 65 miles from the town where the yarn shop is. And she drove out here and spent a day with me. She came pretty early on Saturday. Not last Saturday, but the Saturday before that. She brought her spinning wheel. She brought her blending board. We just had a lot of fiber fun. My daughters just probably drove her insane. She is Mel. Hi, Mel. She's a graduate. She's just got her master's, and you know, single, unmarried, doesn't have kids, that kind of thing. And so to come here and to just be with my family for the weekend just was really nice. And we had a lot of fun. I mentioned she brought her blending board, so I did make some rollags out of some alpaca fiber that I've had forever and a day. And I even, I think it would be just easier if I pop this off to show you. Sorry about that. And I've been spinning. So it's not, you know, the best, but it's definitely, my consistency is getting a lot better, and it's a lot easier to spin a rollag this fiber prep than it is any other fiber prep that I've tried. So that being said, and we just had a great time. I mean, she was here for a little over a day and a half, and we just had the best time. So it's so nice to have a fiber friend to do stuff with. I'm trying to get organized to see what else I'm going to show you guys, because like I said, I don't have project notes. But so because she was here and she had her awesome blending board to share with me, and it was my birthday. Yeah, you don't know what this is, do you? It's a blending board. Oh, there went my thing. I set this down. I want to take it out because there's something else I want to show you in here. So she actually gave me the idea to keep it in the box and to keep like all the little, sorry about the rustling, all the little packaging and things, so my little teeth are still protected, because that's how she keeps hers. So here's the blending board. Oh, we're going to have some massive fiber prep going on, guys. Like, I'm telling you what. I have a bunch of fleece. A bunch of fleece. I don't know what I was thinking when I started spinning, but I know what I was thinking. I was thinking, oh wow, here's this really rudimentary skill that I can do, and I really want it all to be organic from my hands. I didn't want to buy prepped fiber. I wanted to prep the fiber. I didn't want to buy dyed fiber. I wanted natural wool. That's where my head was, and now I see all these gorgeous braids of all this amazing fiber, and I'm like, why do I have all these fleeces and too much guilt to buy more fiber without first using those? Because I'm insane. But I do love my fleeces, and they are all amazing. It's easier and more fun to sit down at your will and to have your fiber ready to go than it is to spend a day prepping it and then not have any spinning time, because that's been my way of the life right now. So when I opened up my spinning wheel, there's books in here and stuff. Or not spinning wheel, blending board. We'll set this here. I was looking through, and I've talked about baby wearing before on my podcast because it's something that I used to do with my 5-year-old. And it just made me so happy to see this on the cover. Now this is a hand woven wrap, and see it says baby wearing. I used a hand woven wrap, but I never purchased one because, as you can imagine, they're kind of pricey to get nice yarn, hand woven by somebody, and yeah. I used machine woven wraps and things of that nature. But it made me so happy to open up my fiber purchase and to see this. And I just thought I would share that with you guys because it just put a smile on my face. So I'm going to shove this back in here so I can show you the rest of the stuff without hurting my teeth on my board, because I want it to stay really nice for a long time, for years and years to come. So, something else I got, because it's my birthday, and I've been talking about tension for a while. Now, I got this awesome needle case from Mommy Sew, her Etsy shop, and I've had this favorited for a while, and then she just did a 25% off thing, I think, for Cyber Monday, and so I had to snag it while everything was on sale. Purple and green. You guys, you know that's my jam. So, I have had the Carbons interchangeable needle set on my Amazon wish list for a while, and I had the one that had, size 2 through size 10. The more I thought about it, the more I thought there's 2 size 9s in that kit. There's size 7, size 8, 2 size 9s, and size 10. I'm never gonna knit with size 9 or size 10. Like, I can tell you, on my bulky weight yarn, I'm still knitting with, a 7 or less. And a 7 is still like loose for my tastes. So I decided to go ahead and get the midi set, which is 2 through 6. Because, that's what I'm going to be using. And I figured if I ever wanted to go ahead and get more of the others, I could just add those on a needed basis. And this set came with 2 of the cords, which I have in mine. She's got this little pocket, which is really cool, and that's where I have my cords. And it only came with 2 cords, and I knew that, so I also ordered from Webs 4 more cords, I think, in their colored cords selection. And up here, there's a zipper for stitch markers or I have those tag things that came with the carbons. So yeah, now I have a whole set. They're flying out because I'm turning this every which way, upside down. Okay. My little, it just did it again. My little needle selection. That makes me so happy. And now I've decided I absolutely need a case for my DPNs because I have far more DPNs because I'm a total DPN user. And I need a case for those. And Trella actually got a sewing machine for her birthday, and I was thinking maybe trying to make a snack mat first and then attempting my hand at making myself a DPN case with a Trella sewing machine. I also I mentioned an ornament swap, and Spicy Homemaker, hi Melissa, sent me these amazing, okay, the light's really blowing them out. They're not blue. They're green and purple because she knows me, and she knit me tiny little mittens. And what's so funny about this is as soon as I got them, I have to drive to get my mail, and I put them on my rearview mirror. And I thought that was just so perfect because it's like a little Christmas decoration in the car. She also sent a chocolate bar with these, and there was an accident with that chocolate bar. I have no idea what happened to it. So, like I said, I have to drive to the mail. I was out shopping all day long, and my car was quite full of things, and I drove past our house to the mailbox, got the mail, saw the package, and I was like, who's this from? Because her name on the package wasn't, I could read it, but she only had her first initial and then last name. And I didn't, recognize the last name, obviously. And when I opened it, I saw the little things, saw the chocolate bar. I thought, oh, it was so sweet. And I set it on the passenger seat on top of all my packages and drove home. Got home, unloaded everything. This was on top of my regular bag. Got my bag, put this inside with the package, got everything inside. Then once everything was put away, I was winding down for the day. I was ready for my chocolate bar. What happened to it? I went out to the car. I searched the car. I looked on the ground. I searched every single bag that I brought in from the house that I hadn't emptied out yet. Who knows what happened to that chocolate bar, but I didn't eat it, and that makes me so sad. But thank you so much, Melissa. I absolutely love these, and I loved that you sent me a chocolate bar, even if I didn't get to enjoy it. And I should have your package out Monday. So sorry that it's taken me longer than it took you, but how things go. It was my birthday, so I have that as an excuse, right? And the kids' birthdays and all that. My mother loves me, and she is not an online orderer at all. She just is technology challenged, much like her daughter. And it's just not something that she's ever felt comfortable with doing. But she asked me what I wanted for my birthday. I still get birthday presents from my parents. And I told her, and she said, not yarn. How are you going to say that? So I said sock blockers, because I needed sock blockers. And I told her she could order these on the Loopy U, which that's where I've seen a ton of podcasters have these, and that's where they get them. And I needed two. I made sure to tell her I needed two because Andy from the Andre Sue Knits podcast, when she ordered hers, accidentally only ordered one. And then they were out of stock, and she had to wait like too long to have two. So I told my mom make sure to order two, and she got these shipped to me. There was an issue. She didn't do the address right. I think she had it all right except for like two numbers of my zip code were wrong. And of course the sock blockers didn't come to me. So then they did, but it was way before my birthday. Everything was fine, and I got sock blockers, so that's exciting. The festival of Woolpiggery continues because when I went to town the other day, I had to do some last minute party shopping for the birthday party this weekend, and I treated myself and went into half price books. because I haven't been in there in too long, and I was really, really wanting the, I think it's Wizardly Knits or something book. They didn't have that, but they did have this book, Greetings from Knit Cafe. And just quickly, I'm going to show you what really drew me in. So I want to knit this, which is a slouchy cardigan, just really cute. And now this is way beyond my skill level, but someday I will wear this. Yeah, it's friggin' beautiful. And see, it's got lots of lace on it, so that's why I say it's a bit beyond my skill level. And something else about it is it says to use 100% silk yarn. Now, knowing what I know about the dress garment that I crocheted with Neuro Yarn, it's got Neuro Yarn's, you know, a Mod Podge of about 1,000 fibers. So it's a mixture, and it stretched out quite a bit as I was wearing it. The stitches relaxed and it just drooped down. So I'm not sure if silk yarn would be the best thing, because it seems like silk does tend to stretch out and not have that bounce back. But I don't know if the pattern has included like something to help that not happen. I don't know what I'm trying to say there, but you get my idea. There was also something else. Oh yeah, this shawl, just a huge triangle shawl. After knitting my farmhouse, like, I must knit all the huge triangle shawls. And that's knit with Blue Sky alpaca, which I think just would be a very luxurious, amazing shawl to wear. I think that's all on that one. I also got Best of Knit Scene. And again, I went to half price books. I think I spent $6 most on the the most expensive book, because they're all about like $5 or so. So in this book, I really want to knit the sweater on the cover. That one is just so beautiful to me, and it has these around the collar and around the cuff, that stitch design. Let me see if there's, and it's on the hood too, which is just really cool. And I think there was one or two. I usually try to only get a book if there's at least 3 things that I would make in it. It's called the Storyteller Hoodie, and I've probably knit sleeves and knit it a bit longer. No, it's the Heather Hoodie Vest, not the Storyteller Hoodie. Where did I even get that? Is that what the other one's called? No, it's called Riding to Avalon. Where did I even get the Storyteller Hoodie? Sorry, there was another one. The Equinox Raglan. Really love that too. I like the neckline the very best. I think my collarbone area is my favorite feature on my body, and I really like to accentuate that area, and I just think that sweater would be a really good option. And I also really like the Central Park hoodie. Just cables, cables, cables. Love that. I could definitely see myself wearing that. I got a spinning yarn book, which is very informative, and I mean, it's just got a ton of really good information in it. And Knits That Fit. You know why I got this. This goes over, I mean, how to get a really good fit and how to know your body shape and size and how to knit for your different sweater constructions and what bodies they look best on. And not to mention a bunch of really, really, really amazing patterns, like this one. Now, I would not knit this with the ruffled collar, I don't think, but I really like the overall look of it. Just not the ruffle, not the ruffle collar. That's not really my style. This hoodie is also really amazing, and I've been wanting to try something with a zipper. I thought that would be fun. Oh, and this one with super chunky yarn. I'm trying to, oh no, it's DK weight. It just looks chunky. So yeah, I'm really excited about having these books in my library, and it's all part of the Festival of Woolpiggery, so that's okay, right? That is all of the yarn stuff that I have to show you, but we have been working quite hard on Etrella's Harry Potter party. So she made pencils to give out and glued feathers on the end of them. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen the picture I posted last night. We made floating candles and hung those around the chandelier. Etrella also made a sorting hat. And we just got like a cheap witch's hat after Halloween and glued brown paper bags to it. She also, I've showed this before when it was a whip, her Hagrid box, her book. And what else? We did spiders up the wall. I painted a sheet to look like bricks. So you're going to walk through platform 9 3/4. She got a ton of Lego stuff for her birthday. She got a Century Falcon. What is it? Millennium Falcon, the big Star Wars ship. She's still working on that. But she also got this bird kit, which is my favorite. So there's a hummingbird, and he's got his little flower, and he actually moves, which I thought was really cool. So she did that one. She also did this blue jay. She also did this robin. Aren't these incredible? I just really love her love of crafting and Legos. And like I mentioned, she got a sewing machine. She hasn't used it yet, but I expect on Christmas break we will try that out. That is all I have for you guys today. I was kind of looking around to make sure. It is. Thanks so much for joining me. Thanks so much for coming back and watching what I've been up to. Please pop on over to the Ravelry group, give me a hello, show me what you're working on. And thanks so much for taking the time to spend with me today. Happy knitting!